Hello and welcome to SquiniCentral. So I am trying to make my way to the garage because I need to get some of my seeding stuff together so I can start mixing up my soil. And I just got some vermiculite and I have cocoa coir and perlite. No, not perlite. Something else out there right now. My mind's trying to blink, but I can't leave the room because my puppy is sleeping, and if I leave she'll try to follow me, and if she follows me and I go in the garage and she stays in the house by herself, she's only 9.5 months, so she's bad. So I'm trying to watch her sleep and hoping that I can sneak out if she's good and sleep enough so I can get to the garage. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I made it. I think I was successful. I had to check the camera. Didn't look like she followed me, but I'm not gonna stay out here too long because one, it's cold in my garage, and two, I don't want her waking up and realizing I'm gone and looking for me. But my garage is a mess. So yes, oops. This is currently all my planting paraphernalia. Sorry. Yeah, so what I'm just gonna do, I'm really just out here to check what soil I have out here. I'm probably going to give all this soil right here a good watering because it's definitely dehydrated. So this soil is from the soil, oh, my chick mix, I was looking for this. I'll tell you about that in a second. This soil is from the soil that I got delivered at the end of the season last year. I think it was the end of the season. Honestly, I can't remember. But this soil, I still have a little bit outside. And so what I'm going to do is take this soil, which I believe has leaf compost in it from the company I buy it from. It has leaf compost in it. It's very dry, so I need to give this a good watering. And then I left the vermiculite in there because it was making too much noise, but I'm gonna mix it with some vermiculite and some I still can't get the word right here. Okay, so a lot happened a second ago. But what I was trying to say, and then I said I just might as well set it up, it'd be better, is that I'm going to mix my topsoil that I get from a lawn and garden store. They deliver like yards and I still have some left from last year, but this has been sitting in the garage since the summer and it is dry, and if you didn't know, your soil can dehydrate, and it is absolutely like blech, gross. It still has some nutrients in it, so I'm going to rehydrate it. I had to go get water because I don't have water in the garage. I had to do it quietly because I want to make sure the dogs sleep. And so I have 2 things of water. I need to water my greenhouse back there, which I'll show you guys at the end. But I brought water for this. I'm going to mix the topsoil with some peat moss. I know I said cocoa coir earlier. I do have cocoa coir, but this is actually going to go, I'm taking this to my school to do some planting and seed starting with my with the elementary kids next week. So actually this may be what I plant with this week, and then I'll do this whole thing again next week and plant with the students at my school. So what I'm doing is I'm going to add some peat moss. I'm going to add water first. I'm going to add lots of water. It's going to need, I have a whole big jug of water, an old vinegar bottle, and I'm going to just add it. I'm going to just pour it in there and let it, and then I'll mix it up a little bit. But if I put too much water in, I have some more soil over there that I can put in. The soil over there is actually soil that from seeds that I started but didn't actually take. So what I'm going to do, it's funny, it's like a mud puddle, if you can see that. It sounds like a mud puddle, right? So you can see my mud puddle. See the mud? It looks like a lot of water. over here. So that looks like a lot of water, right? Looks like it, but in a minute it will totally look like I didn't do a thing. So I mix that up. It's a leaf. Get this all mixed up. Probably gonna have to go get another thing of water. We'll see. This is just a regular big old black tub, ones with the yellow lids. Great for, you know, mixing up your seed starter. I don't buy the seed starting, you know, bags. I used to. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm much bigger scale now, so that is a lot of money to spend on bags. So I get it delivered from nursery. That's how I fill my beds. That's how I start my seeds. So this is topsoil, like I said, has some nutrients. When you start seeds, you don't really need the nutrients because they have everything they need to start growing for the first week or so of life, depending on the seed in the seed itself. So it's not important that you have nutrients in your seed starting mix. Most seed starting mixes do not have nutrients. Like if you buy a box, I mean if you buy a bag of actual seed starting mix, it won't have a nutrients in it. So I got this pretty wet. It's just about right. But what I'm gonna add is the peat moss, and I actually still have a little bit of perlite left. Perlite and I'm gonna call it the other stuff, the V, or I'll put it below because right now I can't say it. They're about the same. They recommend perlite more for like cactuses because it doesn't apparently hold as much water as the vermiculite. There we go, I got it. The vermiculite. So this year I bought a bag of vermiculite instead because I do want to make sure. I had a little trouble keeping some of my seedlings wet last year, moist, so hopefully that'll help so I don't have to so much bottom water the seedlings. So I do keep them in a greenhouse, an indoor greenhouse, because my outdoor greenhouse is not ready yet. So this year I'll still be keeping stuff in here until we get to spring. All right, so nice and muddy-ish. Okay, so I got this bag of peat moss open. Peat moss will also help hold in the moisture for your seedlings. So I'm having peat moss, and I'm going to put a bunch in here. And since it's the beginning of the bag, of course it's going to be like crumbly. I can't pick it up and dump it. It's way too heavy. So I'm just going to try to keep as much going in, not going out. But I'm going to have about half peat moss, half the topsoil, and then the perlite is just like a quarter the amount of the two. And then I am again going to have to wet this. You want to have your seed starting medium wet so that your the seed coats can moisten and loosen and start to get that water that helps them to grow. Water for some sunlight, some don't need sunlight. Let me use the shovel. Tools of gardening are very helpful in gardening. This is kind of powdery and dry, so when you're using it, you don't want to poof it up because it can get in your eyes. And it's like little wood chips. Now, peat moss versus coco coir. If you look it up, there's lots of comparisons. Which one's better? Coco coir is more sustainable, but on the other end, we can't do coco coir in the U.S. So when you get coco coir, it's coming from overseas. So there's lots of traveling involved in getting the coco coir to you. So that means that little bit of sustainability you're getting from using the coco coir kind of goes into the you actually getting it. So I have both. I don't know, they both do about the same thing. So I can't say one is better than the other. I have both. Use my little, this is actually, I'll look it up, but it's a tool that actually digs up weeds. You pull it through the ground and it digs up the weeds. I'm just gonna use it to help me mix this stuff up. Make it a little easier mixing. Now all that moisture I gave it is gone. It's not gone, but you know, it's not mixing in. It's a little harder for me with my wrists. I had carpal tunnel surgery on both of my wrists in December, and they have not regained their strength yet, which they say could take like 6 months or more. So, exciting times. I was just like, as long as I'm ready for gardening season. So like, it actually kind of hurts to use one wrist to try to mix this stuff up. So if I can get this to the right consistency of wet tonight, I will put the yellow lid on top and it'll be all ready for when I do my planting. So here's the perlite. Perlite helps airiness, a little bit of water retention. You don't want your seed mixture to be too heavy, so the perlite helps to lighten it. You don't want your seed starting mixture to be too heavy because your seed needs to be able to push through the medium. So that perlite helps a little bit with that. And also the cocoa coir and the peat moss are actually light as well. They're lighter than the topsoil. So that will also help with the composition of your seed starting mix. Definitely need to make sure that your soil is moist. So what am I going to start my seeds with? If I make this super moist where that if I squeeze it out, water comes out, I can use my soil blocks. I have the 2-inch and I have the 1/2-inch. I will use this one for the onion seeds. It worked really well, I think. We'll see. I may use the bigger ones. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it so much. I also have just regular like pallets that I'll start some things in. I just lay them in. It's actually a microgreen, but I'm not using it for that. And then I also have lots of, where are they? Lots of small pots. No, small pots like these, so reusable. I liked growing in these. They give you a lot more grow time. So I also have bigger ones, but I also would use these to sell stuff. So I'll probably use a lot of these again, like I did last year. But other than that, that's kind of how I'm planning. I'm getting other ideas. I have some trays over there, and that's where I make my soil blocks. I also have these guys. These are okay. I don't know. They're alright. They have holes in the bottom, so I could push them out. But I don't know. They have domes. They have water tray, domes. I don't know. They're okay. So I might use these. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I might use these. So we'll see. How I feel when I start planting. What am I planting? Honestly, can't remember right now. I'm going to start onions for sure because they take a long time to germinate. I'm going to start peppers. I'm going to start some of my brassicas. But yeah, that is what I'm doing. And then with the kids at school, same thing. We're going to actually make some microgreens out of recycled old food bins you get from like with my school kids, we're going to actually use some microgreens out of old recycled the Chinese food dishes, you know. We're going to use those to do some microgreens, and then we're also going to use milk jugs to plant larger things that will go out into our garden hopefully in the spring if it makes it. So that's my plan for planting and getting my seeds ready. And my hand is really cold right now because I did say it's freezing in this garage. Not freezing, but it's cold. So I'm going to just check this, probably add a little bit more water to it, and then water the plants in the greenhouse. I added a ton more peat moss. It's a lot more light and fluffy-ish, but I do need to add some of the vermiculite. You don't usually add vermiculite and perlite together. Not that they hurt, but it's not necessary. But my perlite, I did not have enough at all. So I'm just trying to read what this says. Organic vermiculite. I cannot read that, but anyway, this is supposed to be 10 quarts. So you can't even see that there was perlite in there, and the perlite is bright white. So I went and grabbed the vermiculite because I need to make sure I do have some airiness in the soil. So I'm gonna add a little more. Start using my hands to get down deep. I can see how much is in there and how much is needed. I'm definitely a hands and dirt kind of gal. I don't mind it. I prefer it. Roast is not one of my vocabulary words. I'll add a little bit more. A lot of people measure this out. I'm not a measurer. And as I say that, I add a little too much. So what do I do if I add too much? If this is too much, it might not be. If it was too much, I would add some more peat moss and a little bit more topsoil. And just, I can never have too much, seeding mix. I mean, you could, but you know, I won't. So actually that was probably just about right. Now it looks like it is evenly throughout the whole tub. Alright, so I actually can't show you the greenhouse tonight because the lights are out and it's dark. So that'll be in the next video, but thanks for watching and have a blessed day, night, evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.